Hi, everybody. It's episode 450 of PodQuest.
Hey!
Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. I am Chris. With me is Drootin.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Yeah. You called me?
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah. Drew, how's your head doing?
Better.
You're not dizzy and nauseous anymore?
No candles jumped on it this week.
Now, I have to ask, was this was it hard enough that, a normal person would have been concussed? Or, is it just because, you have been hit in the head so many times that you were mildly concussed?
I'm going to say that I think most people would have not felt real good about how that went, but my history of concussions probably made it worse.
That's fair.
It was one of those, fairly big 3-wick candles.
In the glass jars?
Yeah, in a glass jar that had never been used yet, so it was still full wax.
So
and it fell a good foot and a half onto the back of my head.
You need to stop putting your head under candles.
Fair.
Also, are you sure this wasn't a failed attempt at killing you by your wife? Had you done something that day to piss her off?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Also, me and Cobb had a lengthy discussion on how we have to protect you on last week's episode. I don't know if you...
I did.
Yeah, we decided for your birthday next year we're just going to get you a nice helmet.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were thinking about a football helmet without the mask.
All right.
Because they have all the concussion protocol stuff.
Yeah, and it would protect the back and top of the head.
Uh-huh.
So, great for concerts, some random crowd surfer comes over, they're not going to be able to hit your head.
Or at least, again, it's still football related. You get the old-timey leather football helmets, because those probably protect from concussions as well, right?
Oh, I'm sure nobody ever got concussions in the early 1900s playing football.
Exactly.
I mean, have you ever heard about people with concussions in the early 1900s?
I don't think they understood that brains were a thing in the early 1900s.
The question is, have you ever met someone from the early 1900s who's ever had a concussion?
Probably.
Concussions are fake. They're not real. They're just all made up. It's this conspiracy from the government. It's just a new age thing over the past 20 years. People started to make up.
You've never had a concussion, have you?
No. I've actually slipped and fell on the front of my forehead, hitting my cast iron tub in my bathroom. And as far as I know, I didn't have it.
I mean, good for you in that case.
I was probably, I was leaning down, and when I slipped and fell, I was maybe, a foot or two away from, the edge that I smacked. But, yeah, as far as I know, I don't think I've ever really bumped my head that hard to actually get one. I might have back when I was younger, but
now,
I don't remember. Apparently, I fell downstairs in a walker once. And
under 12 years old, you can't get them.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Absolutely
really?
Not.
Because, there was one time I did bump my head on the roof of the car, on the ceiling of the car once.
No, your brain hasn't fully grown to the size of your skull yet, so it has more room and cushion. So,
Cobb, you're talking to me. My brain hasn't grown to the full size of my skull at all yet either.
Maybe that's why you've never had a concussion.
Could be.
I've definitely had at least one minor one that I know of.
Yeah, they're not fun.
No, you feel kind of bad for a little while afterwards.
Yeah.
And with you, because you've had so many of them, it's not just a couple hours, it's a couple days.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
this was only a couple hours, but the rest of that day, I was teetering on if I was going to throw up.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
What was the dude's name from Not Another Teen Movie consistently on concussion protocol? I think it was Reggie something.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Not Another Teen Movie? That's a solid movie.
I mean, that's the one with Chris Evans, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I know enough of it just through osmosis, but I've never actually sat down and watched it.
But there was a running gag in it where every time there's a football game, it's however many concussions he has left before he has to stop playing, and he gets a concussion or two every game. And at one, he's under 0 concussions, and they have him tied up to two players surrounding him because he's their best defensive player or something. I don't really remember, but it was a running gag.
You're doing a stellar job telling the story.
I mean, it's a silly bit from a movie that it makes better sense to watch it in the movie than it does for somebody to explain it.
Man, that movie probably does not hold up anymore.
Oh, I'm sure it's fucking hot garbage at this point.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of hot garbage, Rich, what's on the agenda?
Well, new from a few weeks ago, CS2. I can't remember what's...
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Counter-Strike 2.
Counter-Strike 2, I guess. Probably not. Drootin and Cub played the Diablo IV beta.
Yep.
I finally beat Tales of Arise after a month. Fucking 55 plus hours. And then we all should have watched the Muppet Movie.
Yep.
And then Cobb watched other movies.
No other movies ever existed. I don't know what Cobb's talking.
No, other movies exist. They are not as good as the Muppet Movie, but they exist.
Okay, fair.
So I have the wrong year in there.
Wow.
But yeah, Rich, it is in fact Counter-Strike 2.
Yeah,
Really?
They're making a sequel to Counter-Strike. You know, the game from 25 years ago.
I did not know that.
Well, like they have iterated on Counter-Strike in the last 25 years.
Yeah, but never a number 2.
Yeah, there's never a number 2.
There's
they
only
had
been
Counter-Strike.
2 other Counter-Strike games since then.
There was Counter-Strike, and then then they had like Condition Zero.
Well,
and
it's
then they
Source and then
Source.
Go.
Well, Condition Zero was something. I don't remember. I think that was supposed to be more like...
That's more like Counter-Strike 1.6. Yeah.
But like
then Source and then Go. Yeah, it's finally now it's 2.
But like Global
wild.
Offensive is at least a decade old now, right?
God, is Go that old? I
want to say it was like
but
2011, 2012.
Oh, God.
2012.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I didn't think Go was that old, but...
August 21st, 2012. Damn. That's... So, there have been quite a few iterations, though. Because you're right, Rich. So, there was Counter-Strike in 2000, and then there was Condition Zero, Source, and Neo, all in 2004. But I think Source was like the
Source
like
is the
the
Half-Life
proper
2 engine
yeah, like
remake.
that's like the proper iteration on the original.
Yeah.
And then you had Counter-Strike Online in 2008, and then Global Offensive in 2012, Online 2 in 2013. They added
China.
Yeah. Probably. They added a zombie version in 2014, and then 2023, Counter-Strike 2.
Jeez. Maybe that means we're that much closer to getting Half-Life?
No.
3?
Nope.
No, we're never getting Half-Life 3.
Like, it is actually kind of wild that this got announced, and it's slated to actually release in, like, this summer.
It's in some form of closed beta right now.
Yeah, apparently it has to do with, like... Actually, Drew, for how much you have probably played Counter-Strike, I'm surprised you didn't get any sort of, like, anything for it. Because it had to do with, like, your standing on your Steam account, like how active your Steam account is, and if and how much Counter-Strike you have played.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit since I've played much Counter-Strike.
So maybe they're looking for more recent,
yeah.
recently active in Counter-Strike then. But hopefully they just do like a full open beta soon, just so people can like test it out. And apparently, I actually didn't know this. I'm just reading it on Wikipedia. It is a free upgrade to Global Offensive.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So, yeah, after 23 years, an official Counter-Strike 2. They're building it on Source 2. So it'll be the latest and greatest from 2015. But like Source 2 is also what like Half-Life Alyx used.
Yeah.
I think they use it for a bunch of their VR stuff outside of Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah, I'm sure they used it for
Aperture Desk Job.
Aperture Desk Job. That's what I was trying to remember.
They ported Dota 2 to Source 2. I mean, like, it's
Did
funny,
they really?
like, Valve has, like, this, like, proprietary engine. They release, like, one game every 16 years, though. So it's like, why not just use Unreal, guys?
Because, I mean, they have all the money in the world because of Steam. They don't need to do that.
I mean, you're not wrong. And, like, I'm sure Source probably had more games. Oh, yeah, like, Source had a ton of games from all different developers. They were just licensing it. Like, Left 4 Dead, which is a Valve game, I forgot. Like, both of those were on the original Source.
Yep.
I'm looking for a game with a recognizable name that isn't a Valve game, and I keep going like, Postal 3.
Oh.
Postal 3 was made in Source, guys.
You sure that wasn't Valve?
Yes.
No, I know. I know it wasn't Valve.
Contagion. I remember that game from a few years ago.
I think I have that.
You may have. I think it might have been like a free thing.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh wow, they were still releasing games in this like as of just a few years ago, like post Source 2. Those games must have been in development before Source, or before Source 2, I should say.
I didn't know Source 2 was a thing. Probably.
Oh, and actually Titanfall 2, and Apex Legends were all actually developed on Source SDKs. They were like updated or like ported afterwards, but they were made with Source. And like I think the big thing with the Source engine is like the what the fuck is it called? Like the physics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Half-Life 2 was like the first game where like you could, like ragdoll things and like pick up anything and like throw it and it would actually like behave like that actual object would behave.
Yeah. Yeah, the Source engine was the first major game engine that had really good detailed physics. And since then they've gotten good physics from other engines, but yeah, maybe Source 2 is like enhanced on that, and maybe it's timeline. I'm not sure. I don't really know. I don't look this stuff up.
Well, so I know like I tried Half-Life Alyx once, and it is probably the best demonstration of what VR is. Like in that, like walking around in that game, and at the very beginning of the game, there's like you walk into a room and there's like a whiteboard, and there are fucking dry erase markers and a dry erase eraser thing like just there, and you can pick it up and you can just write on the dry erase board. And it behaves exactly as you would expect it to. You can throw the marker, it bounces off the wall and rolls and tumbles and stuff like that. Like the physics in that game are incredible for, being a fucking PC game on a VR headset.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was shocked when I heard Counter-Strike 2. And it seems like a lot of other people were too. Like I forget when it was announced. I don't think it was last week, it might have been the week before. It might have actually been between our recordings. I meant to actually bring it up last week, but I figured with Drew not on, like, Rich, you weren't going to have much to say about Counter-Strike.
I mean, I used to play I played Source a lot. Probably not as much as for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure the hours you have in Counter-Strike Source don't even, like, match what, like, Drew has, like, in, like, the least played version of it.
According to Steam right now, it's 84 minutes, but I think I played it a lot more before they started tracking.
Do you want to guess my Source playtime?
1,300 hours.
I'm going to go 30 hours.
152 hours.
I was closer.
I was going to say, no, but by Price is Right rules, you did win.
Yeah, well, even if I did go over, it still would have been closer.
No, if you went over, we both lose. Have you never seen The Price is Right?
No, I've seen The Price is Right. I was just saying, you had 1,300 is so much further away from 330.
No, I mean, you're not wrong, but also, this is Price is Right rules. We would have both missed out on the Showcase Showdown.
It's true.
True.
Neither one of us are getting random kitchen appliances and shitty
jet skis.
like jet skis. Thank you. I was going to say ski-doo, but I'm like, no, that's not the word I mean. That we don't need.
What's a ski-doo? It goes down a mountain.
And so, honestly, if I have 152 hours of Counter-Strike Source, I probably have 550 hours of Counter-Strike 1.6, but Steam didn't exist to track all that time.
Yeah, I don't have any time tracked from regular Counter-Strike, which I'm sure I played a bit of that. So
yeah, I have 40 minutes according to Steam.
Yeah, so Steam back when I played it, because I know I played a lot of Counter-Strike, and I know I played a decent amount of Counter-Strike Source. It was when I played it, they weren't tracking time.
Yeah, I mean, even I actually played like let's call it respectable amount of the original Counter-Strike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't I've definitely played Source, and I'm pretty sure I've at least tried Global Offensive once or twice, but definitely played more of the original than anything, just because we used to go to that place in Audubon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. I mean, anytime I only went twice with these, and when we did that, we mostly played friggin' Battlefield.
We played a fair amount of Battlefield during that.
Yeah, I mean, we regularly jumped around in games there too, because they had Battlefield, Counter-Strike, they had Age of Empires and stuff like that, the strategy RPG stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I was always very bad at. I would just kind of like send a bunch of fucking soldiers out and wait to see what happened. I'm still bad at those games, so nothing has changed there. But yeah, and Drew, do you think you're gonna like boot up Counter-Strike 2 when it actually drops?
Oh, for sure. I'll probably.
I assume you own Global Offensive.
Yeah. I don't remember. Is I feel like Global Offensive was free.
Oh, I thought.
I'm pretty sure Go was free. I thought it started. I totally thought it started as like a fucking phone game.
No, that I can confirm is that.
I didn't realize.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Global
it is
Offensive
free.
is free.
For some reason, I thought that one actually cost money.
Apparently, I have it ignored, which I don't know why. I don't know why I hit ignore on that. Maybe, Steam used to do a thing where it would be like, is this a game you want or don't? And I probably just clicked that no. Not that I didn't want it, but I just didn't really care to play it at the time, so I probably hit no or something. But yeah, it's straight up free. I can download it now.
Well, go ahead and download it, and then maybe you can play on your stream tomorrow.
No, we're doing Sea of Thieves tomorrow.
Well, you play a little Counter-Strike to get warmed up.
That's not how that works.
Sure it is.
Not really.
Man, what do you know?
But if I'm playing anything to get warmed up, it'd be more Apex, more practice.
Yeah, but what if you played a game where you died really fast, so you had to get really good at shooting?
So Apex.
You die infinitely faster in Counter-Strike than you do in Apex.
I know. But matches in Counter-Strike are a lot faster.
Especially, it's probably been long enough since you've played Counter-Strike. You will probably just spawn dead.
Probably.
Actually, before we move on to like real stuff, one other like news thing that I didn't even think to add on here. Did you guys see the stuff I shared the other day about MultiVersus?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that it's shutting down for a little bit or something.
For like a year.
Yeah, it's not launching again until sometime like early next year. But like they're claiming it was just in open beta for the last year plus. And like I looked, they're on like season 3. They've been running fucking seasons, and the game has microtransactions.
Uh-huh.
But like it was open beta, and they're now just taking the entire game offline for a year.
All right. I mean, look, if I know one of you had said, because I quickly saw the message when you were talking about it, how like they're not doing refunds for people, and like I'm sure if you go to them and be like, hey, you should like if you fight it, you could probably get a refund. But honestly, if they truly do plan on bringing this back out in a year, then as long as I have all my shit again, then fine, don't refund me. But this game better be fucking out.
And that's the thing, like there's no guarantee that they're retaining any data because they're calling it a beta. And like from what I could tell, like in just a little bit of like reading some articles, it was never described as like an open beta prior to that. Maybe it was, and it was like not well publicized that was the idea. But it also seems like they just kind of sprung this whole we're taking the game offline in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do pretty fairly remember it being listed as a beta, but I am shocked that it's like, oh yeah, okay, it was a beta. It's going to be gone for a year. Like, what?
Gone for a year, and
Yeah.
like to run the game for a year as a beta, to run seasons during the beta, and to offer like in-game purchases just seems like, like at least give people like a guarantee like all their shit will still be there, which I have not seen yet.
And that's the thing. If your shit's not there when it comes back, then that's when you demand the refund.
It's WB though, so like the fuck do they care?
I mean, yeah, but still, you demand the refund, and class action lawsuit, people get their money back. Like, if they don't give you your shit back, you are entitled for your money back. You're entitled for recompensation. If they don't give you what you bought back.
Almost guaranteed that was in the EULA that they don't have to. That it was a beta and all purchases are final. Like, and
so
no
like,
refunds.
it's an unfortunate like, well, you should have read the terms of service, but like also those things are so long and so full of nonsense so that people don't read them.
Yes.
But like, I also agree with you on the point of like, I didn't know it was an open beta. I didn't know it was a beta test. I thought that the game was out. And honestly, I don't understand. That's the one thing I don't understand is why they're taking it down. Like, if it needs that much work, then patch it in. Continue to keep work. But like the game, from the people I've seen who played it and who liked it, they enjoyed the game. They thought it was a very well done game. It was very well made, and they had fun with it. I've watched people play it. I've enjoyed watching it. I wasn't really a big fan of the animation of the characters in general.
Yeah.
Which is why I never got around to playing it. But overall, the game was working, functional, and seemingly complete. So for them to turn around and be like, all right, well, we're just shutting down for a year. Like, I didn't read the articles. I didn't pay attention to it. But, like, why? Why aren't you just going to patch it over the course of the next, instead of take it down for a year and then, because also you can continue to make money as you patch it and fix things and release more, like, thinking as in a monetary sake, thinking as a businessman, you keep it live, you keep selling your microtransactions while you're fixing the drone. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, it honestly sounds like the game, and honestly, I don't know about you guys, I have not heard much about this game in probably the last year.
Yeah, I haven't heard much after, like, when did it come out?
That's what I'm trying to find out. Like, I want to see when I played it, if I can.
I think it was mid-summer. I think it was July, August, or September. Because I remember watching OG Weirdbeard play it, and he liked it a lot.
It was last summer, so I played it on August 3rd of 2022.
Okay.
So not even quite a year ago.
Yeah, so it still has another 5 months before it's like a year old, or 4 months before it's a year old.
Yeah, and it's going to shut down on the 25th until early next year. So it'll be gone for at least 6 months, between 6 months and a year, let's say.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and it's just, again, like, I have not heard many people talk about it beyond, like, this news in the last 6 months, 6+ months. It wasn't bad. Like, it actually played pretty well for, like, a Smash-like game. But also, like, people are just going to play Smash Brothers if they want to play that sort of game. Like, it's got a lot of cool characters, but also...
Theoretically, yes, people are just going to play Smash Bros., but this game was free to play on PC.
That's true.
So, like, yes, everyone and their mom has a Switch, but not everyone and their mom has Smash. Drew, do you have Smash Bros?
No.
Exactly. Cobb, you don't even have Smash Bros. I would highly doubt if Smash Bros. Is anywhere near the highest owned game between Switch owners.
Oh, no, for sure.
This game, I honestly could see this game, mostly because it's free to play, and it has the not bigger, but like the more memorable roster of characters, like characters that people actually know. I could see this game being a very good competitor to Smash Bros. That, like, if it's on PC, more people are more likely to play it than they are Smash.
I mean, that's possible. I just feel like the demographic of people that are super hardcore into this sort of game are already playing Smash Brothers.
And
so,
they
like,
only care about Smash Brothers.
Yeah, so, like, this game is going to have more...
correction. They only care about Smash Brothers Melee.
That is even more accurate.
Yes.
But, like, so, like, MultiVersus is really going to draw in the more, like, casual audience, at least early on, until something on it creates enough buzz that you get people from that, like, Smash community coming over to, like, give it, like, a fair shake. Because I guarantee people from Smash are looking at it and be like, there's no tripping.
Yeah, fucking tripping. I can't believe Melee is, like, the most... It's, like, the one people want. Like, the game has never... I've never had a bad gameplay experience with any of the consecutive Smash games. That, like, why wouldn't you want 150 characters? Why wouldn't you want all the characters at this point? Why do you want Melee, the fucking GameCube game, right?
Yeah, I've never been able to wrap my head around that either.
I think yeah, Melee was the GameCube one, right? And
oh,
that's
yeah.
The one and that was the one where, like, Nintendo sent out, like, a cease and desist or whatever for people doing competitions with it, but there was a whole big deal about, like, oh, they didn't have the right licensing and whatnot to do it or something, I don't know. And so anytime you would watch a Nintendo Direct during, like, the 6 months to a year, all you saw people saying was free Melee, like, hashtag free Melee. I'm like, why is Melee the biggest game in this list? Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, because I assume you have actually played every Smash Brothers at this point.
Yep. I have played every single one.
So do you legitimately think that Ultimate is the best, or is it the best because it is the newest? And has, like, and everybody's there?
I mean, I honestly, it's kind of, this might be a little bit of a cop-out, but it's kind of like how I feel with, like, when I was talking about the Mega Man game. Where, like, most of them, like, Mega Man 2, 3, what was it? Like, 2, 3, 5, 6, or whatever. I don't remember the ones that I, like, kept a bunch all together. Like, they're all pretty much the same. just with new characters and new levels. And that's kind of how I feel with the Smash Bros. Games. Like, yes, they have mechanically made them run better because they've been on more powerful systems with better engines and everything else like that. So to me, wouldn't you want the game that plays the best? Like, mechanically, I don't, visually, mechanically, and everything else, than the game that you're playing on a 3 generation old system. And like, they all, to me, have always felt the same game. They've altered and edited characters a little bit here or there and edited movesets, and the people who play Smash Bros. Melee are the ones who are modding it, so you can't say it's because they want the old characters, because they fucking mod the shit out of that and put Goku in it. So, like...
But I think tournament-wise, they're still playing, like...
most official capacity tournaments are, like, the base game. They're not running the mods and whatnot. But yeah, to me... I like Ultimate just like I liked Super Smash Brothers, just like I liked Brawl and Melee and Super Smash Brothers. Like, because I think, yeah, the Wii U one was just called Super Smash Brothers, right? I think, yeah. Because Ultimate was this last one.
Yeah, I think
yes.
so, because it was Melee, Brawl, and then just Smash Brothers, and then Ultimate.
Yeah. So, like, to me, like, I've liked them all, and they've all felt similar enough to where, like, it wasn't, for me, too big of a learning curve to relearn how to play it, but it also, they felt like they played better. They felt like they played smoother, and visually they were more stunning. But I'm also not a hardcore brawler fighting game guy. If I look at any of the Street Fighters, I'm gonna pick the one that looks the nicest. Just because that's just what I'm looking at when I'm playing a fighting game. I don't know how to actually play. I don't know the intricacies of this stuff. Like, I might actually want to pick one of the older 2D ones because visually that's a better style. But with Smash Bros, the visual style has not changed. They have just smoothed the characters out more. They're not boxy.
Yeah, that's fair. And like over the years, like, haven't they like taken some features out and put some features in?
I mean, yeah, tripping.
Is that the only thing?
The tripping is not in the game anymore. But besides that, I'm sure they've different items and things like that, but items don't matter because tournament play doesn't use items, which to me is bullshit. If you're gonna play a brawler game, you play the brawler game. You have fucking items in your game.
It's a platform fighter. Get it right, Waldo.
It doesn't matter, but you know what I'm saying. If you're gonna play one of these games, items are part of the game. Just because you don't like how an item works doesn't mean you take it out. Because to me, you're not good at the game if you can't play it with the full set. That's just how I think.
I mean, I agree. Like, if I were gonna play Smash Brothers, I would rather play with just pick whatever character you fucking want. Here's items and all this goofy bullshit. Like, have fun with it. But like, and like we've been over this before. Like, I am not a big fan of Smash Brothers. I don't find a lot of enjoyment playing them. But like, if I were going to be playing them, I'd rather be playing like a full 4-person or however many people the game supports.
Yeah.
Like tournament stuff, like you said, they turn off items and they're only ever 2v2. So they really do turn, like Drew said, a character platform battle game or whatever the fuck it's categorized as into just a regular 2v2 fighting game or 1v1 fighting.
Yeah, it's no items, 2v2 or 1v1, and usually it's just on the like the Final Destination-esque stage. So like in Ultimate, they actually added the feature where all of the levels have just a normal platform stage where it's the regular platform with two higher platforms and then one really high platform. All of the stages are on that same setup. Which, again, it's like, what is the point of saying you're the best in this game if you can only play it in these circumstances? To me, it doesn't make sense. You're not the best in this game then if you need those circumstances.
Yeah, like, I understand the concept of it, but I don't think it makes a ton of sense. So like the idea is they're trying to take out random chance.
Yeah, which is why they tried to ban Hero. What's the fucking
Dragon Quest?
Dragon Quest. Yeah, they tried to ban Hero because one of his abilities, his like magic ability, is too random. And so it's too random. It's hard to combat. Okay, then get good at the game. Like, if I decide to use Hero because his abilities are random, like, that's a detriment to me. Like, I have to deal with that. You have to be able to figure out how to counter whatever the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, do not disagree at all. I was just throwing out there, like, I understand from the fighting game side of it why they want to remove random chance and they want it to be strictly skill-based. Because, like, if you get the Smash Ball thing, it's a guaranteed out, basically.
I mean, not really.
I thought that's basically what that did. I thought, like, it hit them with so much force that it 100% would knock them off the stage.
Like, yes, if you are, say, 30% or higher, and you get hit with an attack from the Smash Ball, you are likely going to be eliminated, sure. But I've saved from that, and there are ways to escape from that, or to not get hurt from that, or to break that out of them. Again, that's more challenge. That's more strategy. Do I go for this item, or do I let them go for it? What is their smash ability, final smash? Is that something I can easily dodge or not? Things like that. That's more strategy, that's more challenge. Like, just because you don't like dealing with it, again, and I'm not saying that you're disagreeing. You're
using like it as just a general.
Yeah, you're removing a part of the game to say you're the best at the game. It just doesn't. No, you're not the best at the game because you can't dodge the thing that you can't dodge, so you want it out of there. I've played with people who are good enough to be in tournament play, and they hate that I have items, and I tell them the same thing. This is how the game was made. You play with items. I'm not sorry about this. This is just, the game was made to have items. I fully believe tournament play should have items.
Which, I wonder if there are tournament situations where they do use items, because, like, I'm only familiar with, like, the fighting game tournaments, like your EVOs, your CEOs.
I believe the official Nintendo
tournaments there are no official Nintendo tournaments.
Well, there was like a Nintendo Smash World Cup.
They were partnered with somebody for a little while, but they did end that partnership. Like, they were sponsoring some.
I think the last one that they did that, like, was on Nintendo's, like, YouTube and stuff, I believe that allowed items. But that was 2020, maybe 2021.
Yeah, I would assume anything that Nintendo was endorsing, probably included just the game to be played as designed.
Or at minimum, they allowed Smash Ball, the Super Smash Balls. I don't know full on all the items, but minimum they allowed Smash.
Which, like, that's good. Like, I believe that, like, Nintendo has basically banned Smash from Evo at this point, right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure, like, they don't allow Smash to be played at any major tournaments. Like, I'm sure there are smaller ones that get away with it because they're not sponsored. There's no money changing hands, but...
This is great. LeVar Burton, sorry, I just got a notification from Reddit, and I have to read this, because Cobb, you'll probably enjoy it. I don't know if you've ever watched Community Drootin.
I watched, like, one episode.
LeVar Burton just created a TikTok, and his bio description. Kunta Gordy, reading Rainbow Guy, on a boat with Troy in the Gulf of Mexico.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I love LeVar Burton. He's great.
Yeah. But do you guys want to move on and talk a little bit about Diablo?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Drew, how much Diablo did you get to play?
I got a Necromancer to level 25.
Damn. The way you were talking, it sounded like you weren't going to get to play that much.
Yeah, I did that by Saturday morning.
Oh, so you played a lot on Friday.
He didn't sleep.
Really?
Actually, wait, no. I got to 20 on Friday.
Well, see,
I went to bed at like 1, almost 2 o'clock on Friday night, because I was at like 12:30. I was like, well, I'm already like level 18. I might as well just get to 20.
Just admit you got another concussion on Friday, and you had to not sleep for a bit, so you stayed up later to continue playing.
That whole don't sleep after a concussion thing has long been. Just go to sleep if you get a concussion.
Look, I'm just making a joke.
But
okay,
yeah, no, I mean, I just wound up playing a bunch of it. I was like, okay, you level up real fast as a Necromancer. They were kind of
honestly
OP.
Same thing with the Sorcerer. Like, I did not get that far. I think I got to like level 15. I did not play like a ton. I played enough that I cleared, I guess, what you would call like the first part of like the main quest of the beta. So this is the Diablo IV beta, by the way. Anyone interesting? where like you go to that one town, you go into the mines where you have like the girl and the guy with you. You make your way down, you fight the girl's mother in the tomb at the end.
Right.
I cleared that and did a few more like random quests beyond that.
Gotcha.
So I don't know like how much that was compared to how far you got, but
fucking I don't remember. I just
that got
killed
me to like
things
level
a whole
15.
Yeah, I mean, I played a whole bunch. I did the world boss thing. I don't know if you...
I didn't even find a world boss.
It was timed things, timed spawn, and I just happened to be on at one point when it was spawning. So I died a whole bunch at that because I was only level 20 at that point, and fuck, that thing hit hard. But I got like 8 legendaries out of that, so that was cool.
Yeah, yeah. Did you only play Necromancer?
I played a rogue for a little bit.
How did that one play compared to like a magic user?
Rogue played pretty good. I also played a bit of both on console as well. Because Saturday night I wound up like, I wasn't gonna play, but some of my brother's friends were like, oh, well, we're gonna play. And I was like, alright, listen, I'll start downloading it, and if it downloads and I have time, I'll jump in. And it downloaded in like 15 minutes. I was like, oh, well, alright, I guess I'll jump on.
Which, hey.
Yeah. So, console felt pretty good too. I personally won't play it on console, most likely, but it plays well on a controller.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I played most of it on PlayStation. Like, I played maybe 2-3 hours on computer, like, sporadically as I was, like, between work and stuff like that. And then I played the rest of it over the weekend on the PS5, and it played really good on the PS5. Like, the PC is more dynamic, just because of the way you can map things and do things. But they definitely nailed the controls for that game on a controller.
Yeah. I mean, the control scheme, the skill layout stuff is exactly as Diablo 3.
I played so little Diablo 3 on console that I just don't... I don't have any actual solid memory of it. I remember it feeling well, but nothing beyond that.
Well, I just mean the whole, like, you have 6 skills equipped at any time, like, that's completely unchanged.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really remember any of that. But yeah, just the movement felt good. Like using abilities was seamless. Like even like inventory and skill management like worked very well. Cuz I like
management
the click.
Was incredibly clunky.
See, I didn't think it was all that clunky on console.
Compare it to literally one keyboard press and then just click and drag skills around. It was way, way, way worse.
I've actually never, like, I didn't do any of the skill stuff on the PC.
Yeah, literally, like, especially once you got to the point, like, where I was the Necromancer and had more skills than could fit on the skill bar, and occasionally wanted to swap things out to try different things. Literally, to do it on PC, you hit S, and it brings up the box that has all of your skills. You just click and drag things around. Console, you had to open the inventory, go to the skill tree, then click in the left analog stick, change out one skill, and then do it all over again.
Yeah, you know what? I never had any issues with it. But like you were coming from PC where like you had been, moving and dragging stuff all over the place.
Like it's not bad. It's just definitely worse than the PC setup for that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a PC game, like without a doubt. But they did a really good job of making it playable on console.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other stuff in there. Did you run into any like issues?
Not really. I mean, early on there was a little bit of connectivity issue on Friday, but
I had some spotty stuff throughout the weekend too. Times where like the map would like almost it would like glitch out and it would just like jump me back across the screen a ways and I'd have to like re-walk over there. Like it was never reloading enemies or something like that, but I would just kind of get like slingshot back like half the screen away or whatnot.
Yeah, that was happening a little bit.
And I had one instance, did you do and you might not remember, there was a bit where you were trying to find the girl that you had to kill her mom in the tombs. where you're supposed to go find her shortly after that. And at one point you end up going into like a portal in the woods, and then like a ghost wolf comes and like guides you through like a realm, like a spirit realm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I did that.
So when I was trying to find that area, I happened to walk into a cave. And when I realized like I didn't want to go that way, I turned around to leave again, and I couldn't, like it wouldn't load the game. My character would just walk in place if I went like beyond like the mouth of the cave.
Weird.
Yeah, like I ended up having to go into the cave, and like, you know how most caves in Diablo, like there's two paths and one path just inevitably loops back to where you started. I basically had to do that. I had to just go into the cave, make my way through it, loop back around, and then the game like caught up with itself and like loaded what was beyond.
Weird.
Yeah, it was a very weird bug. But luckily, like I didn't get disconnected. I didn't have to log out. I actually didn't have any connectivity issues all weekend.
Yeah, like I said, Saturday with the bit I played was fine. Friday was a little iffy.
Yeah, because you actually had to wait a little while on Friday, I think, to get in, right?
I don't know if consoles and PCs had different queues or not.
I was about to ask you, like, if you had that happen any other time over the weekend.
I don't. There was a very short queue Saturday morning on PC. I don't remember there being a queue at all when I got on console at like 11 o'clock on Saturday night.
Okay. Yeah, on console, I never ran into any queues. That's why I had the same thought. Like, I wonder if they're, like, because, I mean, crossplay is seamless. Like, anytime I looked at the social, I could see you and Eric both playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Eric got 2 characters over level 20.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Because he was naming his characters after Marvel people, and he had 2 different character names, and they were both over level 20 at one point.
Also, the characters carried over from the first weekend, so I don't know if one of them was already at 20 plus, and then he did a new character for this weekend or not.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. So yeah, he may have, assuming that stuff carried over at least.
Well, I mean, I know for a fact the stuff carried over. My brother's one friend started playing the first weekend, and then was using the same character this weekend.
Well, I mean, good for Blizzard for leaving that stuff intact for this. Like, I purposely did, like, I picked a sorcerer thinking that, like, that's normally not a class that, like, I'm super into, just because, in my opinion, there's too many options. Like, a lot of the magic classes kind of like that. Like, you kind of just have too many options on how you want to play them. And I just get a little overwhelmed. But I ended up just really liking the way it played, and I'm like, well, I don't want to play too much of this, because if I want to actually play the sorcerer later, I don't necessarily want to have to redo all of this again just to get back to where I was.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I was definitely, like, I know you 100% weren't, but, like, I was on the fence. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to bother buying this. Like, it's been, like, another decade. Like, do I really need it? And I'm just like, oh, no, that's right. These games are really fun. I am probably going to buy this.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to buy it, inevitably, one way or the other. I almost didn't even bother with the beta, because I was like, I'm just going to fucking be getting it anyway. Why do I need to bother?
But, I mean, you play so much Diablo, like, why not just play the beta, right?
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what it was. I was like, oh, fucking might as well. What the fuck else am I doing Friday night? Nothing, really.
And let's be realistic. Like, there is always a better than zero chance that at any given time you might just play Diablo. So, yeah. Like, why not just play the new one while it's available for a couple days?
Yeah, I mean, legitimately, if I didn't download the Diablo 4 beta on Friday, I probably would have just been playing Diablo.
Nice. Oh, right, because you got the Resurrected edition, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried that, and for some reason it just didn't click.
Yeah, I mean, it's Diablo 2.
Yeah.
It is
it's
23-year-old game.
I was going to say, like, I don't know that I've played Diablo 2 since 2006 or 7. Like, I never really had PCs to play games on, so it was like, I would, like, buy those games, they would barely function on the computer, I would get through them, and I'm like, alright, well, this computer can't really play these, so I'm probably done with this now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember using my work laptop to play Diablo 3, and, like, it functioned, but it didn't function well. Like, my character was just constantly lagging behind everybody else when we were, like, playing. You were there that first night, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like, I was always lagged behind everybody because my laptop just could not keep up with anything. It was terrible, but it was fun. So, like, that's what mattered.
Yeah.
Any other stuff you want to say about the beta, though?
Not really. The one thing I will say, apparently Druid was super underpowered.
You know what? I saw a couple people kind of like saying stuff about it, but I didn't look into it too much.
I mean, neither did I, but my one friend was playing a Druid, and she was like, I cannot kill this fucking boss. And then eventually sent a screenshot. I guess she was looking through forums or whatever, and lots of people were complaining about not being able to beat whatever one of the bosses unless they did one very specific Druid build.
Oh, that sucks.
And then I think she said she made a Necromancer later, got back to there with the Necromancer, and she was like, yeah, I steamrolled it immediately. Like, Druid was definitely busted.
That does suck.
Yeah.
Because, like, that game was very friendly with just about everything. Like,
Mhm.
I never had a situation where, like, I was below half health and couldn't just very easily, like, resolve that.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, like, health potions were so fucking just readily available. I just constantly used them because I knew that, like, there would always be 4 more the next mob of things I took out.
Yep,
And
pretty much.
every boss I fought dropped them, like between phases and whatnot.
Mhm.
Which, like, that's cool. Like, that's great for when you're playing solo and you don't necessarily want to, like, wipe and have to, like, redo all that stuff. But also, like, made it feel a little too easy.
Yeah, agree with that.
Which, I think that there were only the 2 difficulty options, I think, for this, right? Like, you
Yes.
couldn't put it on hardcore or whatever's above that.
Well, so hardcore is a separate thing. You could play a hardcore character if you wanted.
Right, because hardcore is permadeath.
Yeah. But yeah, of the whatever the difficulty tiers were called, only 1 and 2 were open.
Yeah, I think I did 2. Or I did whichever one was like, you've played a Diablo game before.
Yeah, that was 2. And yeah, that's what I also played on.
Yeah, and it's...
I'm not going to bother. Give me that little bit of extra experience. It's not going to be hard.
Yeah. Unless apparently you were a druid.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we will probably both end up talking more about Diablo when it comes out in June?
Yep. 6/6/23.
Oh, shit. God, June is so much closer than you realize.
Yeah.
But Rich, you've been quiet for a while. How's Tales of Arise?
Oh my god. You're not going to finish it.
You say that, but, like, I finished, like, I do not mind JRPGs. I don't mind, like, silly grind and, like, money issues.
You hate grind, though. You've said that you don't like grinding.
So, it's different in a JRPG.
Not in this one.
That's fair. I will also probably play it in weird spurts. I will play it for, like, 20 hours, and then I won't play it for 3 years, and I will just pick it up and continue right where I left off.
So, overall, the story was fantastic. It was a great story. It was really fun to play. The gameplay is awesome. Battle system's awesome. But this game just has major faults. Money is a big one where I was struggling to be able to buy the basic items I needed to get through things. To get through the final boss area. Because we talked about a little bit their health system, the CP system, where you have an overall set of cure points that all healing magics use until you're able to basically take a rest. And then once you take a rest, you can refill those cure points. It's not just healing magic. It's cure, it's resurrect, it's anti-status element for sure, but it's also buffs, like barriers and strength ups and things like that as well that CP uses.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is kind of BS because then it's like, alright, well, I'm not going to use these. And it's going to make fights harder and longer because I need to save up my CP. The main character's strongest abilities are the worst to use because he gets hurt when he uses them. And so, since he doesn't have any healing abilities, the final fight is him versus somebody else. And he can't use healing spells. So you have to have enough healing items in order to heal him through this fight. I went into the last 2 areas of the game on my which stream did I do that? On Thursday stream and Sunday stream. Thursday stream I went into the second to last area of the game, thinking I was going just to the final area. I go into the second to last area, and I played from 7 o'clock till about 11:30. Guess how much time I actually played in that for 4.5 hours.
An hour.
Drew, do you have a guess?
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Probably about 30 to 40 minutes.
Fuck.
Yeah, literally it was 4 hours of fucking dialogue. And then I ended right before going to after a point, I got stopped somewhere, and I'm like, all right, this is a good end point. We're going to the final dungeon as soon as we're done this point. And I'm like, we're gonna beat this game on Sunday. Did I tell you guys how long I streamed for on Sunday?
Wasn't it like 8 hours or something like that? 7 hours?
I started at 2 o'clock and I finished just before midnight.
Oh, shit.
Good for you, man. 10-hour stream?
For the final dungeon, it took me 10 hours.
I mean, that sounds like a JRPG to me.
For the first 3 hours of the game was more dialogue. Literally, 3 of the 10 hours I played was dialogue right at the beginning.
Rich, this is not like a criticism. Other than Final Fantasy 15, what was the last JRPG you played?
Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Like modern JRPG, I should say too.
I played Last Remnant, Infinite Undiscovery. I think I played it. Was that the one that was about Bach? Or
no, you're thinking of
no, that was
Sonata.
Eternal
like
Sonata.
That? Yeah, that
Eternal
one.
Sonata. Yeah, I played that.
So it's been like 20 years.
It's been a while since I played like a long, straight up hardcore JRPG. Honestly, I can't think of any that have come out in recent years besides Tales of Arise. But like the reason I bring this up, the reason I bring up that there was about 10 hours of dialogue in the last 15 hours of the game was because there was more dialogue in those last 15 hours than there was for the other 30.
I don't believe you. Those characters would not stop fucking bickering in the whole 3 hours I played of it.
Yeah, so in the 3 hours but there was at least there was enough time between them bickering and you being able to play to where you felt like you did something.
Oh, that's true. They were just bickering while I was playing even.
But there was a lot of the game has these scenes that you can do that are bonus. You don't actually have to do them. I would do all those to get everything. But there were sequences in the game where it's just oh, your party left you. And why did they leave you? Oh, because you're stuck on a ship going somewhere and you now have to go physically talk to each and every one of them to see how they're feeling. But none of this pushes the story forward. And you have to sit here for a 2 to 5 minute conversation per person to see how your characters are feeling multiple times throughout the game. Which it's just a lot of the dialogue just does not push the game forward. Even with the main story that you're in, the stuff that you're going through, Cobb, honestly, once you get to the end, everything that you've gone through from that point on really didn't fucking matter.
That's a JRPG.
The story doesn't actually come into, you don't get the full sense of the story or any of the story, really. You get liberate the Dana story. But then, the actual story doesn't come into play until the last 20 hours of the game. And it was just look, I know it's a JRPG and they're wild like that, but this one, you know what? I played the Kingdom Hearts games, a few years ago. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and a bunch of them up until, right before 3. I never finished them all, but, I played all them, and those were more, those didn't even have dialogue this bad, and those games are wild.
Well, they're just nonsensical.
Yeah, but, it's just, this game definitely, it was good. It was fun, but it wasn't, a lot of things didn't hold up. It didn't have a lot of good balance between things that are going on, things that you need. There wasn't balance between playing the game and having the dialogue. And a lot of the stuff that, they did talk about, honestly would have been so much better for them to talk about while you were running through the dungeon. Because all of the times that there's those dialogue and those bonus scenes, you had to stand there and sit there while they talked, instead of them, having these conversations while you're running through.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. This just sounds like a modern JRPG in every way, in every bad way too. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There was no real story until 60 hours into the game.
Yeah.
The game didn't stop giving you tutorials until 40 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was still one more tutorial in Xenoblade, 70 hours in. Like, in the final, like, stretch of the game, there was a tutorial for a new combat system they were introducing.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how those games, like, JRPGs have gotten, they are bloated, and you really have to be in a particular mood to play them.
And like, generally, I don't mind the bloat. I don't mind all the extra stuff. But, like, the rewards for doing some of the extra stuff weren't very useful. Like, the rewards would be, like, skill points so you can update your sphere grid, basically. Or the equivalent of sphere grid. It's just easier to call it a sphere grid. Or it would be, like, items for fishing, or, like, the occasional just food items and this and that. Like, sometimes you would get money. But, like...
That part is wild. You were telling me about that after we were done last week. The, like, just lack of money.
Yeah, you don't get money after battles.
But you need it.
Mostly because of the whole CP shit. Because of the way they do healing and curing, and the fact that, this is the biggest problem. The way they do experience and leveling. It is, I can't, why am I blanking on the word right now? But it's scaling. It's scaling based on your level. So, obviously, if you're level 20 and you go fight a level 35, you're going to actually get more experience for killing that level 35 than if you're level 35 fighting that level 35. It's not that you're getting it comparatively more because you're level 20 and you're getting what feels like more experience. It's straight up, you get more experience because of the scaling. But if you're level 37 and you fight a level 35, guess how much experience you get?
0.
How much?
0. You're right, Drew. You get, like, if you do get experience, it's maybe 1% experience. It's next to nothing. So, like, there is really no good way to grind to level up, and all of the side quests and bosses that they throw out at you are, like, when you get them, you'd say be 35, and they're 45 and up. And if you want to go fight them, you can go fight them, and it's very possible that you can kill them at that level. But you're going to end up using all of your items, all of your healing items, all of your magic healing items, and everything else. And then you're going to end up having to fish for 5 hours to get the money that you need after doing the quest that wasn't worth it, basically. Unless you just go to the very end of the game right to before the last boss, and then go do all the side quests. Like, because they give you that option. It's like, this is the point of no return, you're going to the final boss. Do you want to go do other shit real quick? And it's like, I mean... that kind of ruins the pace of, like, hey, the world's gonna end if we don't do this real fast, but you know what? Let's go kill that giant fucking bird that we were told to go kill by some guy down on the planet down below real quick. And, like, it kind of, to me, that's like, I don't like that idea of leaving. And I had to. Halfway through the final dungeon, I had to leave. Because I had no items, I had nothing to heal with, and I was like, let me go try doing some other quests. Just to see if I can, like, get more skill points, get more money so I can buy some items. Might have to go fishing so I can buy items so I can continue to heal throughout this final dungeon. And it's not very balanced for, it's not very balanced for a, like, very fun playthrough. And you have to be very dedicated in order to be able to get everything and, like, I'm a completionist. I want to be a completionist, but I cannot. I don't have the push to complete this game because I already beat it. And to me, there's no point in being a completionist in a game you already beat. I'm not getting stronger to play it against other people. I'm just getting stronger to just do everything now. And to me, that's not a satisfying feeling that I beat the game, now let's go get stronger. There's one of the side quests that they throw at you at level 40. No, below level 40, at like level 30-something. One of the side quests is level 80 plus that they throw at you at level 40. It's wild.
Yeah, like some of that stuff, even so very, very early in the game. Like basically as soon as before you get to that first like camp thing.
Yeah.
When it's just you and the princess girl whose name I'm drawing a blank on. You're walking along, and they point out, like, this dinosaur off to the side. They're like, hey, that's a strong enemy. If you go beat them, they'll give you extra good stuff. And, like, I go over there, and it's like, oh, this guy's, like, level 47, and I'm level 2.
Yeah.
Fuck you, game.
And then, like, you go, and when you go to that town right there, you talk to someone, it's probably after you clear the area, you talk to someone and they ask you to clear that enemy out. But you have that quest through the entire fucking game. And
right, because you have to wait till you're in the 40s to go do it.
Yeah. And then there's, like, other side quests. At least, maybe I didn't really figure out how to go through and find, like, the information on it. But there was a side quest where it was, like, it gave me a riddle. And, like, I didn't go do it right away. And I couldn't find that riddle again. Maybe if I talked to the person who gave me the quest initially, maybe I would have been able to ask him for the riddle again. But it was not anywhere in my menus. So I had to look up, how do I do this quest? Because I couldn't actually read the riddle.
Have you thought about getting better at riddles?
Well, how can I get better at a riddle that I don't know?
But that's the ultimate riddle.
Yeah.
That's the puzzle. That's the puzzle.
Why did the chicken cross the road, motherfucker?
But yeah, it's just like, I loved this game. And I might go back and, like, because I enjoyed the battle system enough to where I might go back and, like, do some of the other stuff. But I don't really have a push to do, like, to get all the accomplishments or achievements and whatnot. There is a new game plus that you can play through. When you beat the game and you jump back into it, you start right before the final boss. And it's like, alright, now you can go do everything that you didn't get to do before. But, again, I beat the game maybe, let's say, at level 60, maybe like mid-50s. And really, the only other dungeon I know of at the moment is 80. So it's still going to be too high for me to go into. So I don't know what else I would be doing to level up, besides paying them $20 for 40 levels.
I mean, because pay them for levels.
That's the thing that, like, really frustrates me the most out of this game, is I 100% believe they built this game knowing the flaws of the money, knowing the flaws of the experience. And rather than patching that to make it better, they just were like, here, buy it. Buy the money. Buy the experience.
I mean, like, pay to win, right?
And that's bullshit,
no,
man.
It absolutely is.
Like, I can't believe they did that. We went over this a couple weeks ago. It's like $20 worth of, it's like, I think it's $20 for 40 levels, and it's like $10 for like 200,000 gold. And some of the cost of the weapons, like some of the final weapons, they just cost so much money. And it's ridiculous how much money these things cost. That it's like, I would go to make them, and I'd have 50,000 gold or whatever, or maybe 40,000 gold. Somehow I was able to collect it. You're able to collect money and gold in the last dungeon on a planet. Never mind. I can't, because it's spoilers, so I'm not going to talk about it. But, like, you're able to collect gold at a place that you shouldn't be able to collect. That's all I was saying. And it's like, you get it all, and then you get 50,000 gold, and then it's, you can only make 2 weapons with this 50,000. But you also need to go fight the hardest monsters in the world to get the parts to make these, because you're only able to get these items by doing these side quests that you haven't finished. So
the important question, what's your next 100-hour JRPG?
So it's not going to be 100 hours. My next JRPG, because we had it redeemed, is Star Ocean: The Divine Force. But we're taking time off from JRPGs in general because this one was so fucking long. It took me a month to beat this, and that's a long time for me to beat a game, especially even a game this long. A month is a long time for me to beat a game. So because we reached 300 followers for now the third time. We are doing Apex Ranked in April, starting April 4th, because that's when the rank split hits. So if for anybody who doesn't know anything about Apex Ranked, if you are playing in Ranked prior to the split, and say you reach Bronze 3, once the split happens, it actually lowers your rank by like 1, so you'll be back down to base bronze. Or like if you're in Gold, you'll be brought down to Silver or something like that. It brings you 1 rank down, 1 full rank down or something like that. So I'm not doing that until after the split. So that'll start April until May 4th. And then we're going to do, because we also had a redemption for Remnant from the Ashes. So we're going to do that next. Because that's not going to be as, I don't know, time consuming.
Dude, on May 4th you have to play a Star Wars game.
I mean, I could figure out a Star Wars game to play on May.
I mean, you have to. It's the law.
It's not. But also, I don't know what day May 4th is.
It's a Thursday.
Is it a Thursday? So, I mean, I would be streaming that. But it would actually technically be May 4th or April 4th to May 3rd. That's 30. That's a month, technically be.
Yeah.
14, 21. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. It's just 4 to 4 is easier to just think of and manage. But then we'll be doing Remnant from the Ashes because the sequel to that comes out in August. So the people who want me to play that one are going to play it with me when I play that. So we want to do that sooner rather than later. And then we'll do Star Ocean. All of these games I got already because they were all on sale during the spring sale. And then I don't know what's after that. Hoping I need to keep an eye on God of War to be on sale because I want to play that and might do Dead Island at some point because Dead Island 2 is coming out soon. Finally.
That's right. That game does actually come out soon-ish.
Yeah. But I think, and this will be a fun little like tease. October is Dead Month. Every game I'm playing games that have title Dead in them in some way, shape. Dead Space, Dead Island, Left 4 Dead, things like that. Anything that I own that has Dead in it, I will be playing. If I have multiples, so like if I say I had Dead Space and Dead Space Remake, I would play one of them. I wouldn't play them both. But I have a few games with Dead in. Actually, it's mostly just Dead by Daylight, Dead Horde, Dead Island, Dead Island, Dead Island, because there's Dead Island and then Riptide and then Retro Revenge is like a side-scrolling brawler. And then Dead Space 1 and 2 is what I have right now for that.
Are you going to try if it goes on a sale or anything, are you going to try and do the Dead Space remake?
I might look and keep an eye on that to see if it comes on sale.
People seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. I've seen people seem to enjoy it. And so since I've never actually, even though I own Dead Space, I don't think I've ever actually played it to where I wouldn't mind just going into the remake instead of, but we'll see. I'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, that's what I have upcoming, but JRPG wise, technically, I guess Monster Hunter World, I'll be playing that again because
Boo.
I bought that on Steam sale as well. And I've been wanting to play I've been wanting to play a better Monster Hunter game, and just Rise just isn't really doing it for me anymore. I haven't touched Rise since before the most recent update, and I'm just waiting till the next update, and I'm just going to do it all at once and be able to kill the final boss, because we're assuming the next update is the last one for Rise, and then be done with it, and never have to touch Rise again. And it's not that it's not that I hate it. It's just the endgame loop in this one is not. The endgame loop is actually decent. The endgame battle system is decent, but it's the redemption systems that I'm not really a fan of. So like every monster is like a little bit more stronger and things like that with the endgame stuff, the way they're doing it. And it's a cool process, but it's in order to get things to the level you need them to be, that means you have to fight them over and over to strengthen them each time you fight them. And it's kind of frustrating to fight like the shitty monsters over and over that you don't like fighting. That is just like, and the fights just take too long, especially solo. That it's not really worth it.
Which, at least you know that like you're done with it, right?
Yeah, like, and that was the thing with World. I never actually did everything in World. I never fully beat World. I never finished every monster in World, and so it would be nice to go back to that. Unfortunately, I can't transfer my save over or anything, so I have to start from the beginning, play through World and Iceborne and all of the content, and then do all of the end game loop stuff that they have in.
Fair. Do you guys want to move on though and talk about some book club stuff?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So for this week, per Drew's pick, we watched the 1979 Muppet Movie.
That we did.
Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, Muppet time. Right? Isn't that a thing they do? Not during this movie, wasn't it? Like a thing they do.
It might have been from like the Muppet Show.
You're kind of close to the Muppet Show.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna be. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna say I hated it, but it didn't draw me in. There were a lot of times in the movie that I was flat out bored and was like, all right, let's move on. And like I ended up looking at my phone a few times and just like not paying full attention.
You're a disappointment, sir.
It was like the very beginning at the bar, I was just like, man, this is dumb. I don't like this part.
It's a Muppet movie. What did you expect?
Not them at like a CD bar, but it's also like fucking what is it? Almost pre-80s, so like
1979.
1979.
Yeah. So, but like, yeah,
Have you ever seen a Muppet movie?
I saw the one, the newest two.
Oh, okay, the
in
one
theaters. I saw them both in theaters, both with Jason Segel. Those ones.
I don't think Jason Segel was in the second one, was he?
He might not have been, but his quote brother, his character's brother was.
Oh, okay.
But I think Jason Segel at least probably had something to do with writing and producing it.
Yeah, probably. I think he's like a big Muppet fan.
Yeah, he wrote or produced the first, not the first one, but that new one. Well, you know, I thought it was fun. I laughed at times, but like there were instances where I'm just sitting in here, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, all right, let's just move on with this and let's go.
Drew, what did you think?
I mean, it was delightful. I don't 100% disagree with some of what Richie's saying, though. Like, there were times I also kind of spaced out on it, but like everything, like the songs are great, the cameos are funny, and like, oh hey, look, and then you know, like the Muppet fourth wall breaking, whatnot. Like, it's a good day.
Look, it is the debut of the second most famous song about rainbows.
It's true.
What is the most famous song about rainbows?
Oh, come on.
Fucking think about it, man.
Also from a movie.
I know the song.
No, come on.
Nope.
What song is it?
Is it Somewhere Under the Rainbow?
No.
Right?
So close.
You know what I'm talking about. That's the thing. I don't know song titles.
You're one word off.
What's it from?
I don't know. I just know a Hawaiian dude sings it, man.
Oh, super no.
Rich,
Or at least the versions I know are the Hawaiian dude. Like,
it's Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz.
yes.
I know the Hawaiian version you're talking about, though. That is a very good version.
That's the only version I know of that song.
Yeah, no, the original is Judy Garland singing it in The Wizard of Oz, and there's also, I want to say Me First and the Gimme Gimmes did a cover of it, or Newfound
Probably.
Glory. One of the two. Maybe both. They could have both done it.
Wouldn't shock me if both have done it.
I've never seen that movie all the way through.
The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Neither have I.
I've seen bits and bobs, but that's it.
Yeah,
I've seen it way too many times.
Nope, never seen it all the way through. Still no Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
I didn't realize that was in that movie.
It's Up Where All the Bluebirds Fly, Over the Rainbow.
You want to know what movie I associate Somewhere Over the Rainbow with? You're gonna hate it. But do you want to know what movie I associate that song with?
Yeah, I do.
Fucking 50 First Dates.
Was it in that movie?
Yes. Chase.
Oh, is that where the Hawaiian version of it gets played?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. To go back to the Muppets, it's just, it was a wonderful little movie. I actually don't know that I've ever, if I have seen the entire original Muppet movie, it was when I was a child in like the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've seen some of the other ones between then and the Jason Segel one. I never saw the sequel, Most Wanted.
Yeah, I can't remember if I saw the second of those recent ones.
I know I saw the two more recent ones in theaters. I've probably seen like Muppet Christmas Carol and like Treasure Island and whatnot. I have zero recollection of them nowadays. Like, I vaguely know like the Treasure Island one, I think. Vaguely.
And so, like, I wasn't even counting, like, those ones. Like, I was thinking, Muppets Take Manhattan, Muppets from Space. Like, I forgot all about, like, I didn't forget about it, but, like, yeah, like, a Muppet Christmas Carol is
the best version, version of A Christmas Carol.
Like, it's got fucking Michael Caine playing Ebenezer Scrooge against a bunch of fucking puppets.
I'm pretty sure Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island are, like, the genesis of that replace every movie, take a movie, replace all but one actor with Muppets meme.
Yeah. You know what? John Wick.
Yeah, fucking
dude, it would work. Can you imagine Keanu Reeves just like running through buildings, murdering puppets?
Whoa. You're not replacing the dog.
What?
You replace even Keanu Reeves with Muppets, and just the dog is the only character that you don't replace.
No, because the dog's not in it.
There's a dog at the very beginning and
the
very end.
Have you ever seen John Wick?
Yes. At the very beginning, he gets a dog, and then he gets killed, and then he gets redemption for the dog.
Yeah, the whole reason that the Muppet movies work is because there's like a human in the whole thing.
And then he gets another dog. At the end, he rescues a dog from a shelter.
Yeah, no.
After he kills everyone else for his dead dog.
You have to keep Keanu. Just think about it. Think about it. How good would it be watching Keanu Reeves just fucking fist fight a bunch of puppets?
Oh yeah, I know. That would be fantastic.
And like Kermit would be John Leguizamo's character.
Oh yeah.
The owl whose name, or not the owl, the eagle whose name I'm fucking blanking on would be Sam. Thank you, Sam. He would have to be the dude's father.
Yeah, Gonzo would be the dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Gonzo is Theon Greyjoy.
Yes.
Yeah. Animal would be the Actually, no. You know what?
Animal can't be the dog.
Well, no, I was gonna say Animal should be like the dude who shows up with the guys to clean up the bodies at John Wick's house at the beginning. But then like Honeycutt and Beaker, like that would also suit them, like cleaning up a crime scene. Because that would be hilarious.
But what if it was Statler and Waldorf? Just come in, clean it up, but also make witty commentary about how fucking ridiculous it is that they have to clean this shit up.
No, so as sad as it is to say this, they would have to replace Lance Reddick and the other guy, the guy who runs the hotel. So like rather than being these like stoic like businessmen, it would just be fucking those two.
Who is that runs the hotel? I can't remember that actor.
I know him when I see his face, and I can like he's one of those guys I can picture his face, but I'm drawing a fucking Ian McShane. It's Ian McShane.
Ian McShane. Okay.
But yeah, like this movie writes itself. Who is Willem Dafoe? Miss Piggy?
No.
Miss Piggy would have to be Miss Perkins, the female killer.
I mean, I guess it also would.
Actually, I guess Kermit could be Willem Dafoe, like the edgy, experienced hitman sniper, John Wick's friend. Guys, this shit, like, it's a shame that Disney would never do it because this just writes itself.
I mean, it doesn't write itself; it's already been written.
No, but it also writes itself.
But anyway, more on the Muppet Movie. I do love that this world lore that they make in these Muppet films. That the Muppets are just everyday things for everyone to see.
Yeah.
And no one bats an eye at it. Like, fucking, and it's just some random, freaking, Hollywood guy boating in the swamp bayous of wherever the South it might have been with a most recent Hollywood Variety newspaper in his pocket saying, "Oh, you got a week to get to Hollywood." And it's just like, how is seeing Kermit, a singing ukulele playing frog, or no, banjo playing frog, how is this normal? And I like, they do that with like everything Muppets, and it's like, pretty much every Muppet movie is, or like this movie, the sequel to this one, and then even like the more recent ones, they are straight up continuations. The more recent ones were not reboots.
No, yeah, they're
like,
sequels.
They were sequels where the Muppets like separated and stopped, and then like the friggin' even the ABC like Office Muppet show that was on for, I think it was just a season, which was fantastic, and they should fucking bring that back.
Yeah, that I did enjoy that show. It was silly.
That was even part of this canon world, because it was them running the Muppet Show after the first movie. Because the Muppet Show came back, and they started, like, a variety talk show with Miss Piggy and whatnot. Like,
yeah.
It's so great, and I just love that, talking stuffed bear is normal to these people.
He's a comedian, thank you very much.
Gonzo, whatever the fuck he is normal to these people. I love the idea. Like, no one, like, double takes or anything about it.
Yeah. I will fully admit, like, I was laughing out loud quite a few times at just some of the goofy, like, just dumb jokes. Like, when they're at the car dealership, and the car salesman's just like, if it's on the tag, that's the price. You're not paying a penny more or a penny less. And I don't know what the big Muppet's name is, but he like
Sweetums.
Thank you. He swatted the fly right between it, and it put the little the dot between it, and they're just like, oh cool, we'll take that one for $12.75 or $11.75. Also, you owe us a quarter because our car traded for $12.
You owe us, and it was $11.95.
Right, and it was a nickel.
Yeah. Yeah, it had some funny, silly points. I liked that. You know what? One thing, I guess, because I'm not like someone to have watched a lot of these older movies, and I'm not saying I'm not a fan of the older movies, but like I didn't recognize Mel Brooks. I didn't recognize some of the other guests.
Oh, see, I recognized Mel Brooks immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So the only actor I really recognized, and it was his look, but mostly his voice, was the mayor of the town that was doing the beauty pageant when he was announcing the winners.
Did you not recognize Steve Martin?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve Martin. I forgot about Steve Martin.
I was going to say, Steve Martin has basically looked the same for the last 50 years. He has just always had gray hair.
Yeah. He doesn't age. That's weird that opened. My computer's going crazy. But yeah, it was, and I don't even know the actor's name. I just remember him from a lot of TV shows. I think, was he Mad About You? Is it like the dad in Mad About You or something? I don't know. I can't remember. I honestly don't remember what I know him from. I just recognized him. I was like, oh, it's that guy. And no one else. I didn't recognize really anybody else, because this movie is 9 years older than me. And so, like, like you've gone over before, I don't watch these older movies. I don't really do it. So, like, the cameos themselves I really didn't, like, pay attention to. After watching it, I did look up, because Disney has all of the original Muppet shows. I was like, I should watch these, but I really don't think they're going to hold up at all. Not because they're going to have, like, bad content, but because it's going to have all stars from back then, and I don't know any of them. None of them I'm going to recognize or really even care about.
But, like, some of them still just hold up. Like,
I mean,
like, Cloris Leachman was in it. She was the secretary that was allergic to animals.
But I don't recognize her. I don't know what she's from.
Did you ever watch the show Raising Hope?
No.
We just watched it. She's in Young Frankenstein.
See, it was in black and white. I didn't recognize. Honestly,
God, you're the worst.
Honestly, but that's the thing. I didn't recognize her, and that was
watch more movies.
How long ago did we watch Young Frankenstein? Like 2-3 months ago, maybe more than.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a while.
So like, it's not someone I would recognize or know who they were, and it was pretty much with a lot of the other characters in this movie. Dude,
we watched Young Frankenstein in November.
Wow, that long ago.
Yeah, I just looked it up real quick. But like I get it. Like you do not, like, you watch recent stuff that interests you. You don't go back and watch classics because you're a fucking heathen.
No, it's just I'm not refusing to go back and watch them. It's just I don't have a reason to watch them, kind of thing. Like, I like, the only reason I probably never would have gone back and watched this movie because, without this suggestion. Otherwise, if I had a choice, yes, between this movie or the 2008, 9, 10 version, I would watch the 2000 whatever one. I have nostalgia for Muppets, but I enjoyed that movie more than I did this movie.
Oh, holy shit, that movie was from 2011.
Yeah.
And the sequel was 2014. Like, I was literally going to say, be like, hey man, I think those are from like 2015.
No,
like, it has been more than a decade since that first one came out.
Yeah.
That is terrifying. Ugh. Anything else either you want to say about Muppets before we move along though?
It was a good movie. It didn't captivate me like I was kind of hoping.
Which is fair. Do either of you have like a coin or something nearby, or feel like typing into Google? Flip a coin?
I don't. I couldn't remember if I still had a coin in this pocket or not.
Rich?
Alright, flip a coin. It's flipping. It's flipping. It's flipping. It's tails.
Alright. So, I had two picks that were musical comedies. I assigned them heads and tails earlier before we got started. Drew, you have Peacock, right?
Yep.
And Rich, you can sign up for a trial of Peacock, right?
I guess, if I have to.
Yeah. We're going to watch Pitch Perfect 2.
Well, it's heads. What would have heads been?
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh.
Then we'll go for tails.
Oh, fucking on that response now. Really, fuck that. Let's do Robin Hood, but...
Wait, Rich, do you not like Robin Hood Men in Tights?
I've never seen it, but it's another one of those older movies that like I honestly would I would probably prefer Pitch Perfect over that movie. And I'm not saying it's probably I would probably watch it and I'd probably laugh at it, but personal preference for me, I want to watch Pitch Perfect 2. I've never seen it. And I've seen the first one. I've always wanted to watch the second and third one.
And Drew, you've never seen any of them, right?
The Pitch Perfects?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
All right. Pitch Perfect 2 is the perfect jumping on point. You need to know, all you need to know, end of the first movie, they won the fucking championship. First ever all-girls group to win the a cappella national championship. That's all you gotta know.
Yeah, yes. I probably didn't even need to know that much. I'm sure it
is important for the beginning of the movie and for the setup of the story, but otherwise...
They'll probably even straight up explain that.
You know what? I think they do in the first few minutes. It's because it's got Elizabeth Banks and who's that other guy? Like funny guy.
I don't remember. I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember who that is.
Yeah, like he's always like he's the funny guy. I'm gonna look him up real quick. He's probably got one of those names where it's like we're not even gonna know his name. Yeah, John Michael Higgins. He's just in a lot of stuff all the time.
Yeah. He's got a face that you would recognize when you saw it.
Exactly.
But yeah, and not a name that you would recognize.
Oh wow, he's apparently in the Saved by the Bell reboot that was on Peacock, I guess. He's the principal. Huh. But yeah, him and Elizabeth Banks are like the commentators and they're hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun movie. I'm pretty sure 2 is the one with the Green Bay Packers in it.
I think so, yeah. I've seen a scene from that riff off.
I'm scanning to see if that's I'm looking at the first movie, so it's not going to be there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that like an ensemble of the Green Bay Packers are in it. So yeah, so in 2 weeks on whatever day that is, where's my calendar? The 13th, April 13th, we're going to be watching Pitch Perfect 2.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
And then I guess we'll figure out a new thing from there.
Well, it would be either yours or Drew's pick for genre and then movie. And then that's how we'll go. So since I picked musicals, one of you guys gets to pick the next genre / movie / category. You don't have to strictly pick like an action movie, but like if you want to do, let's say if you want to do movies with a person in it or movies with a certain kind of theme, that's your category, and we'll have to figure out. The rest of us will have to figure out from there.
So I was actually thinking about this, and I kept meaning to toss it out there, so that we don't have that weird like somebody goes twice. What are your thoughts on like coming up with criteria like genre, actor, like dealer's choice, whatever? Basically assigning them a number, and then like every time we complete like a cycle, we'll just roll a dice, and we'll see like what the like thing has to be, and then we'll determine the movies or whatever based on that.
I mean, we could do that, but so that the idea, I guess for me right now, the idea would be we would have to roll that dice probably next week, so that whoever is going to be picking. So
exactly,
I would be picking next.
Yeah, no,
I would. You'd have to give me a week to think about what type of movie I would, or what movie I would want.
Exactly, and like under normal circumstances, we can do it when we decide like the last thing of that cycle. So like normally, so like we would do it today.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, but since I'm just throwing it out there, we'll do it next week so that you then have a week of like, all right, what's like a movie that I would want to watch like a particular actor in for 2 more movies.
Yeah. And so I guess we have to just like come up with ideas. I honestly have I have an idea for a whole set of movies that I came up with today that like I mean I you guys might be interested in. I don't really know. I know all 3 of the movies we could even watch and talk about. But it would just be like movies with Queen in them, and it was going to be like Wayne's World, the actual Queen biopic, and what was the other one? Oh, Flash Gordon.
Queen's in Flash Gordon?
Well, Queen made the Flash Gordon
soundtrack,
song.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made the soundtrack.
Yeah, at the very least, little song.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know anything about Flash Gordon either.
Well, yeah. Chase.
Right. So the last little bit we have for tonight is this past weekend I watched a handful of movies. Some of them were good. Some of them were fine. None of them were bad.
Okay.
Which, you know, that's saying something with the way movies are.
Yeah.
So first one we watched, it's this newer horror movie called Skidamarink.
Skidamarink-a-dink-a-dink, skidamarink-a-doo.
Yeah. I don't know why they named it that. It's a super low budget. I think they made it on $15,000.
Jesus.
And I think it's like labeled as like an experimental horror movie. It's super fucking weird. It was interesting though. It's the plot revolves around these two very young children, I think 4 and 6. And they're basically like trapped inside their house alone with some sort of like malevolent entity.
Mm-hmm.
So like you never actually see anybody though. Like all the camera angles are like these weird like floor shots or like static shots on like hallways with nobody in them. So it's really just like a lot of dialogue and a lot of like quick cuts for things. But these kids are basically like both their parents suddenly disappear, different things in their house, including the doors and windows, disappear. At one point, like the little girl goes upstairs and at first her dad is just sitting very creepily on the edge of the bed. And she goes up to him and he keeps telling her to look under the bed. And it's one of those where like you're expecting a jump scare and you're just like, don't do it. Don't look under the bed. And like nothing actually happens, but like eventually she looks back up and her dad's gone. But then you see like off like on the periphery, her mom is now sitting on the other side of the bed. So it's just like a lot of weird like psychological stuff like that where you're anticipating something scary happening. And there's maybe only like once or twice in the movie where like there's more of like a jump scare. But it's just it was very creepy. Just it was supposed to be in like the mid 90s too. So like it had that like film grain and some of it, I feel like some of it was a little overdone, but it had a very film quality to it where it was kind of grainy. There were a lot of like the markings and stuff like that you would get from like a legitimate film, like if you're watching like something off a projector.
Yeah.
In a way that like I feel like movies never had it that bad, but they were doing it a little extra just to make it obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely if like you're into just like weird, not totally clear movies, it's worth checking out. If you don't want something that doesn't have a very clear narrative though, like steer clear of it. It wasn't on anything free. It was like a $5 rental, I think. But it's one of those movies that like it was shown at like a film festival last year and has just had like a whole bunch of buzz about it since then. So we're like, well, let's check it out. Like this seems weird and different. And it was both weird and different in good and bad ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one we watched was Jordan Peele's Nope, which was the one that came out last like September.
Yeah, I wanted to see that.
It's good. It's not as good as his other ones. Get Out and Us were both significantly better than Nope, in my opinion. But I think what Nope did better than the other two were its casts. Or, I guess not the cast, because like the cast and all of them were really good, but like the characters and the interactions and the dialogue and the relationships, all of that was really good. I think like the general plot of it was just, it was fine. Like it was nothing to write home about. It like spoilers for things that were definitely in the trailer. It's like involves aliens. It's a very unique concept for aliens. And I think the way that they go about sort of the final confrontation is actually pretty cool. And like that, the final like half hour was actually pretty tense. But everything leading up to that, like it was more of a mystery than like a horror movie or anything. And the mystery was just really like, well, what the fuck is going on around?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all the characters were really cool. Steven Yeun from like Walking Dead and Invincible is in it. He plays a former child actor who, and like for some reason they make a big deal about this in the movie, but it never really like has like an immediate effect. He was on a sitcom in the mid 90s that involved like a chimp. And during the very beginning of the movie, they just show you this chimp in a party hat covered in blood and a dead body like hidden behind a chair. And you find out like, I don't know, 30 minutes into the movie or so, that him as a child was on this sitcom where filmed in front of a live studio audience. They were filming this thing. One of the chimps that played the part in the show just like lost it and just started murdering people.
Mm-hmm.
And like the one body that you see in the beginning apparently wasn't dead, but was like maimed to the point where the woman, like when they show her in the present timeline, wears a veil because her face is just so destroyed. And like they just keep like bringing this up for like the beginning half of the movie when he's around. I'm like, this is weird, and like doesn't have anything to do with anything other than the fact that he obviously is traumatized and isn't dealing with it real well as an adult. But he owns like a Wild West experience place where like rodeo, like faux old West town setup, and he is buying horses from like the two main characters who run like a horse farm where they do Hollywood like horse training. So like they would be the ones bringing horses in for like filming scenes in movies where people are riding them and whatnot. But they're on hard times right now, so they keep selling like their horses to this guy's like theme park thing.
Yeah.
I believe this was actually free now. I think it's on Amazon Prime if you have Prime. So if you liked, I will say like it's still a good movie. Like it was interesting. I was remembering Us and Get Out and how good they were, and like this just didn't quite meet those two.
I haven't been able to see either of those. I haven't been able to see any of his movies. I want to see all of his movies, but yeah.
I think Us is my favorite of the three, but Get Out was also really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick before you move on, I was looking up Steven Yeun because he's got a new series. I thought it was a movie. He's got a new series. It's going to be on Netflix called Beef. So I was trying to remember what it was called, and the image of the show for it on Google, I swear, was just an image from him in The Walking Dead. But it turns out it's actually like the title card image for the show. But I was like, man, this just looks like they took a Walking Dead still from him and added it to this page.
And what if they did?
You know what? Good on them. But that show actually does look good. It's like a comedy drama. It stars him and Ali Wong, and it looks interesting.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the last movie that we watched was called We Have a Ghost. It's like a Netflix original movie. It's actually got Anthony Mackie, like from the Marvel stuff, and David Harbour from Stranger Things. So, like the idea of the movie, it's more like a family comedy than like a horror movie. Right off the bat, Anthony Mackie's family basically moves into the haunted house. Like the house just from the outside looks like shit. Like it hasn't been kept up on because nobody lives there. Because for the last 50 years, everyone gets scared out of it. And they waste zero time with one of the kids who's like a teenager, like mid to late high school, going into the attic and finding a ghost. And the ghost is David Harbour, who has been dead for 50 years, but doesn't know how he died or anything. Like he has no memory of his life. And he can't communicate directly. Like he can't talk or anything. So this whole movie, his acting is just like body language and facial expression. And like he does a really good job getting all that across. He does not have a single line of spoken dialogue other than some like nondescript wailing noises that I don't think are actually like him speaking so much as like haunting power sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes from they capitalize on the fact that they have a ghost. And like the family goes viral and we find out that ghosts are real and the government comes looking for him. And then the kid and his neighbor decide to like find out what happened to him. And like they start discovering that like maybe he was murdered, maybe he killed himself, maybe he has family out there still. So it becomes almost like a road trip movie, but like while running from the government, trying to find out like who this guy actually is. And it was good. It was also like a nice like I guess change of pace you could say, going from like the two like more serious horror-y movies or like thrillers, I guess, for Nope, to just kind of like a goofy family comedy.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix, and I'd 100% like say like if you're looking for just something like kind of like light to put on and just kind of have on while you're doing stuff and sort of pay attention to, it's definitely worth checking out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem it. I looked it up while you were talking about it. It does seem interesting. I like the cast. The cast is cool. Yeah,
it has a good cast. It was funny. Like, it didn't take itself too seriously. At one point, like, after, like, the family goes viral for everything, they're, like, the husband and the wife are having, like, an argument about stuff, and the wife goes, Jesus Christ. And then, like, they pan the camera around and there's a dude standing in the window dressed like Jesus. And she walks over and just goes, not cool, and like closes the blinds.
Yeah.
So, like, they knew what they were making and they had fun with it.
That's always the best part about when movies like just like know what they're doing. And so
yeah,
it gives you that like good sense of like, all right, they're not taking themselves too seriously. They know. Exactly.
Like they weren't trying to make it's not all the way like a family comedy, like something you'd find on like Disney Plus sort of stuff, but it's also not like serious. Like they just they had a good time with it.
Yeah.
But I think that might be a show.
I think so. I guess since I have to sign up for the Peacock, I can finally watch Bel-Air.
There you go. And Saved by the Bell.
I didn't really watch it when I was a kid. I didn't like that show when I was a kid.
Whatever. Anyway, if you, out there in Listenerland, would like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, most other places too, probably. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And Rich, you're playing Apex for the month. What days?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday we'll be playing Apex at least 3 of those days, if not all 4. Depends on how I'm feeling some days. Trying to climb up to rank to see what kind of a celebratory stream we'll have in May. So come check it out, twitch.tv/b_1up.
Cool. And with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.